Hello and welcome to Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome to African Liberation Day, May 25th, 2024, here in Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Owino Stephen Paul, Director, Pan-African Congress Kenya. Pan-African Congress Kenya is the national arm of the global Pan-African movement, and we will be hosting the African Liberation Day in celebration of the independence of African nations and the formation of Organization of African Union, OAU, which was later changed into African Union, in the build-up to the discussions around the African unity, peace and prosperity. As a continent, we believe we are one people. We were divided by the colonizers in the 1884 to 1885 Berlin Conference that was held in Germany, Berlin, to divide Africa into pieces and slices of cakes and bread for the colonizers to come and steal and disadvantage us, and they have stolen and keep on stealing to date in the name of neo-colonization and imperialism. But we as Africans, we have always come out and won. If our forefathers, without superior weapons, without electricity, without the internet, without the power that we now have today, we were capable of winning against the forces of slavery, slave trade and colonization. And they fought in the bushes to gain the independence that we now celebrate, the freedom that we now enjoy. And no one can now force you to go and work in their farm. And no one can now tie you up in chains to go and sell you to go and work as a slave outside of your homeland. If they could do that at that time, without so much sophisticated technology and weapons, how much can we do today as a people? With the number of intellectuals that we have today, the resources that we have, the leaders that we have, the citizens that we have, the consciousness that we have today, let's open up Africa, let's have the opportunity for everyone, and let's have a united Africa with one government, one economy, one army, one currency, and forge the forces of integration, African Free Trade Area, to enable people from South Africa to even trade in Northern Africa, for the people from Central Kenya to the east, to the west, without boundaries that are holding us together. Let us use the boundaries created by the colonizers at the Berlin Conference, where we were never part of, as a stepping stone towards the integration of and the unity of African continent. Welcome all. Let's remember the likes of Harriet Tubman, fearless woman who rose up against the inhumane treatment of blacks in America and began the fight against slavery. The likes of David Walker, who came up with the need for Africans and the brown to unite. Up to the likes of Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Henry Sylvester Williams, and to the era of Kwame Nkrumah, Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Nelson Mandela, Julius Nyerere, Gamal Abdel Nasser, Milton Obote, Kenneth Kaunda, Samora Machel, Thomas Sankara, the brave Pan-Africanist who rose up to lay the foundation of where we are today. And we want to thank His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for standing with Pan-African movement and solidifying it and holding it together as the only African president who has shown more work in uniting Africa. And we urge all other African countries to come together, all other African presidents to come together and support Pan-African congresses and Pan-African movements in their countries. Let us solidify the global Pan-African movement, and let us build on the foundation laid to us by our founding fathers to build up the realization of a more peaceful, prosperous and united Africa. Africa will surely arise, and Africa must unite. We must have one continent, one currency, one country, one passport, zero visa, African Free Trade Area. We can trade with each other freely, and breaking down the barriers of the boundaries that were set by the colonizers in the Berlin Conference. Welcome all to Nairobi. Let's begin the discourse. Let's have a conversation around the unity and the prosperity of African continent and the African people. How do we support the common man in Africa? How do we create jobs for the women and the youth in Africa? We have so many educated, millions and millions, who are now running jobless. Africa is great. Africa must unite. And Africa will surely arise. Let us unite. Let's come together under the wings of Mama Africa. Luta continua, hasta la victoria siempre. The struggle continues until victory always.